It's a crosstown rivalry in Sin City. We're in Vegas where the Pac-12 tournament is taking place.
We'll also take you live where USC and UCLA fans are watching from home. See It Live starts right now.
USC will play at 8:30 tonight in the second round of the Pac-12 tournament. Good evening, I'm Madison Weil.
And I'm John Marcus. We have Jackson Saffon and Connor McGlynn live in Las Vegas. How's the tournament going?
Thanks, guys. We just got finished being serenaded by a sweet, sweet rendition of the national anthem just a few minutes before tip-off here in the T-Mobile Arena for the nighttime session between Arizona and Colorado and then USC-UCLA. But Jackson, there was a lot of action that happened in the first part of the day, right?
Yeah, Oregon kind of took care of business against Arizona State. But in the second game with Utah and Utah and Cal, it was a close game throughout. But then all of a sudden, Cal was up by 11 with only 2 minutes to go. And Utah cut it all the way down to 1 point. Just missed a couple shots at the end. Couldn't really close out that comeback. But it was a crazy game. Got the crowd fired up.
Got the crowd fired up. And we talked to some fans in that crowd about what their experience has been like here in the T-Mobile Arena.
Seeing USC play, playing UCLA rivalry game, get to see a bit Lonzo Ball, TJ Leaf against our guys. It's fun seeing the NBA prospects, but hopefully I just be able to see USC get another W. Cool having all the different fans out to get to talk and mingle with everyone else, see everyone else's views of the teams, but it's a great atmosphere to play in.
It's really fun. You end up watching a lot more games than you think you're going to, because you get caught up in it. It's fun.
So as we mentioned, USC and UCLA tip off around 8:41 tonight. And Jackson, one of the big figures in this game is the fact that TJ Leaf, one of UCLA's stars, is expected to play tonight. How's that going to factor into USC's game plan tonight?
Well, I mean, he didn't play in UCLA's last couple games this season, and it was a factor. I mean, Washington State, who's not that good of a basketball team, already lost in this tournament. They competed with UCLA when UCLA didn't have Leaf. So the fact that he's back is definitely big. He's going to match up with Benny Boatwright. Definitely a matchup to watch tonight.
Give me a quick prediction.
I think UCLA is going to win, but it'll be close, maybe around 8 or 9.
All right, guys, you heard it there. And you can hear the Arizona band playing real loud right now. But that's all we have here live in the T-Mobile Arena. We'll send it back to the studio.
This is the third time this season USC and UCLA will face each other on the court. Both teams have one win, and this tiebreaker decides who advances to the semifinals of the Pac-12 tournament. An unranked USC met number 8 UCLA in the Galen Center in late January. The Trojans put up 50 points in the first half to upset the Bruins 84-76. But UCLA came back with a vengeance. They easily beat the Trojans in their second matchup just 3 weeks later. The Bruins came out on top with a commanding 102-70 victory.
Both the Trojans and Bruins have relied on their young talent all season, and that will remain the same tonight in the rubber match in Las Vegas. For the Bruins, freshman star Lonzo Ball needs to continue his high level of play. Ball has excelled in his freshman year, averaging about 14.9 points, nearly 8 assists and 2 steals per game. The star point guard is also expected to be a lottery pick in the upcoming NBA draft. Injuries have plagued USC sophomore forward Benny Boatwright this season, thus limiting his playing time. However, the sophomore will need a big performance tonight if the Trojans hope to upset UCLA. When Boatwright has been healthy, he's averaged 14.8 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, and almost 2 assists. While Las Vegas plays host to college basketball this week, it's widely known as Sin City and the home of gambling. Vegas odds makers have UCLA favored by 10 points, but what's that really mean? Let's break it down. The bets to look for in college basketball are the over-under and the spread. The over-under is the predicted amount of total points in the game, and you bet whether the final score will be over or under the given number. The spread is the amount one team is projected to beat by the other team by. UCLA was given a -10 favor on the spread, which means if you bet on them and they win by more than 10 points, you win money. However, if USC wins or loses by less than 10, you would lose that bet. In other words, USC is given the 10-point handicap.
Annenberg Media's Terrence Davis is live. We know the game doesn't start until 8:30, but how are things going over there, Terrence?
Thanks, Maddie. I'm here at the 901 bar on the corner of Figueroa and 28th Street as USC fans are gearing up for the Pac-12 quarterfinal matchup against UCLA. Now, the game doesn't start for another 2.5 hours. However, fans are slowly, casually strolling in to enjoy the pregame festivities. Here with me tonight is USC student and basketball enthusiast Nate Stranzel. Nate, thank you for joining us, man.
Of course.
So, what are your thoughts on tonight's matchup with UCLA and USC this evening?
You know, it's always a tough matchup against our crosstown rival, especially this year. But if we shut down Lonzo Ball and if Metu plays really well, I think the Trojans can pull out a win.
So, what are your thoughts on USC if they get their second win over the third-rate Bruins? How will that help their NCAA tournament bid hopes?
If we beat UCLA tonight, number 3 in the nation, I believe we deserve to be invited to the tournament for sure.
And this is a rivalry game, so if USC gets this win, what does this do in terms of bragging rights?
Man, it compounds them exponentially. We beat them in football this last year, and this would mean everything for the Trojans fans.
Thank you so much for joining us, Nate. We appreciate having you on.
You're welcome.
Game starts at 8:30, so if you're looking for a place to come watch the action, come join me down at the 9-0. I'm Terrence Davis. Back to you guys in the studio.
Sorry for that delay there, but thank you, Terrence. We also have JT Arose in Rivalry Sports Bar in Beverly Grove. What's happening over there, JT?
Thanks, Madison. So I'm here inside of Rivalry Sports Bar and Grill in UCLA's neck of the woods, where in just a couple of hours, UCLA students will be coming to watch the Bruins square off against the Trojans in Las Vegas. Now, I have with me here Frankie. He's a bartender here at Rivalry Sports Bar and Grill. Can you tell us, how are you doing today? Could you tell us how packed it'll get in here as we start to approach game time?
Oh, later on tonight, once about 8:15, about 15 minutes before game, it'll start piling in. Of course, it'll mostly be UCLA people, but I will be here with my little USC crew cheering on the Trojans.
So can you describe what the atmosphere is like when we have big we're going to see tonight and USC?
Oh, big games here. There's pretty much, it'll get to standing room only if you don't get here before midway through the first period. And it'll get loud. We crank up the volume so everyone gets into the game and you start cheering as if you're at the game.
Yeah, I mean, I can see you already have the TV set up with many basketball stuff on the channels right now. So everyone coming in can already be prepared for that. So I'm just going to ask you one last question. Who are you rooting for to win tonight against UCLA? Right now?
Obviously, Trojans all the way. So, like I said, we'll have our little group here, and we banter with the UCLA people a lot, but I'll be cheering on the Trojans.
Thank you so much. So tonight's crowd is definitely expected to draw excited fans from both the USC and UCLA side. But for now, we're going to send it back to John with more on Pac-12 tournament play. John?
Thank you, JT. As day 2 of the tournament reaches its midpoint, 6 teams are still in contention. Yesterday, Arizona State was able to knock off Stanford. Cal narrowly defeated Oregon State. Colorado beat Washington State, and USC held on against Washington. With UCLA, Arizona, Utah, and Oregon coming off byes, the Ducks easily defeated the Sun Devils this morning, and the Bears beat the Utes. And joining me now is Chris Lopez, a sports analyst, here to talk about how the rest of the tournament will go down. Now, as we enter the semifinals tomorrow, just walk me through this first one here, Arizona versus Colorado, the game that's about to tip off. Let's go ahead and tell me who you got.
Well, so this is going to be a game between some great senior guards for Colorado and then a very well-balanced team in Arizona. Now, even though this will probably be a good, relatively competitive game, I'll take Arizona in this. Lauri Markkanen will probably be controlling that paint. I think that Arizona is one of the most well-rounded teams in the country, so I really like them to beat Colorado big.
All right, now we got a rubber match coming up next. Our USC Trojans taking on UCLA Bruins.
Absolutely.
Who do you got?
Well, I'll take the underdog Trojans in this one. Call me a homer, but I think that we looked really good in that first game, and if we can control the ball. In the first matchup, we had 20 assists. In the second one, we only had 10. So if Jordan McLaughlin is able to move the ball around a little bit, I think that gives us a good chance going into tonight.
You said Jordan McLaughlin's an important player, but let's go ahead and take a look and see if your matches go out with Arizona versus USC. Who is the most important player in that match?
And the most important player in that match, again, I think is Jordan McLaughlin. Now, we've already seen good performances from Chimezie Metu and Benny Boatwright. The X factor really is McLaughlin and his ability to keep our offense stable and moving and stop from turning the ball over. When we've not made big mistakes, that's when we've been at our best this season. I think that if we can do that, we have the potential to beat anyone, including UCLA or Arizona.
Right, now let's move over to the top half of the bracket. Oregon will be taking on Cal. Who can move on there to go to the final in the Pac-12 tournament?
In this game, I got to take Oregon. You know, they're one of the most well-rounded teams again in the country, been in the top 5 for most of the year, and it's really their three-point shooting. California, while a very good team with Ivan Rabb, they lack a little bit of that perimeter defense. I like Oregon to be bombing all day on California. I'll take them going into the final.
All right, now let's go into that final matchup. Just tell me who your champion's going to be.
You know, I really got to take Oregon this one. I think they've been on fire recently. Dylan Brooks is up there for the player of the year. I really like him going against any kind of defender in the conference. I don't know if there's someone that can defend him. And they're a very well-rounded team. They got good rebounders in Boucher, big men who can really control the paint for them. I think when you have all of those things going into one, they can kind of handle anyone who comes their way. I'll take Oregon to win the conference.
All right, not so unpredictable there. Number 1 seed.
1 seed
All
deservedly.
right, thank you so much, Chris, for joining us. I'm going to toss it back over to Maddie.
It wasn't just the basketball team that traveled to Vegas. We talked to a USC Spirit leader who traveled with the team for the tournament.
It's really exciting as a USC Spirit leader to be here in Vegas thanks to Pac-12 cheering on the USC men's basketball team. Our job is really to get the crowd pumping, get them excited, have a lot of fun with them, fight onto a lot of the band songs, and just be able to support the team in any way that we can and hope to stay longer and win the whole conference or the whole tournament.
The UCLA-USC basketball rivalry is as strong as ever, and UCLA's Lonzo Ball a force to be reckoned with. Although he's only a freshman, Ball is projected to be a top 5 pick in the NBA draft this year. And even though he might be going pro, UCLA fans are thrilled that the Ball family has 2 more players on the way. Lonzo's little brothers, sophomore LaMelo and senior LiAngelo, also from Chino Hills High School, are getting national attention and have already committed to UCLA. The Ball brothers played against Mater Dei to a sold-out crowd at USC's Galen Center. Even celebrities showed up, including LA Rams running back Todd Gurley and NFL wide receiver Deshaun Jackson. While Lonzo might be on the way out, LaMelo and LiAngelo hope to continue UCLA's success and cause some trouble for the Trojans. It should be a good game tonight. Back over to John.
All right, thank you for joining me. I'm here with Annenberg Sports' own Julia Adams and Nathan Desai for a little game of True or False, and we're talking March Madness. Let's jump right into it here. All right, first question, true or false? USC will be higher than an 11 seed.
I'm going to go with false because I think that USC will actually be an 11th seed. That's what ESPN predicts, and I also think based on the losing streak that USC had, including with Arizona State, that they're just not going to be able to rise above 11th seed.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Julia. I'm also going to take false. I think USC is going to be around that 11 to 12 range. Heading into the Pac-12 tournament, a lot of experts were saying that USC was on the bubble. They were around that 11-12 spot. And with a pretty unconvincing win against Washington yesterday, a very weak team without their best player, I think USC is staying around that 11 to 12 range unless they can beat UCLA tonight.
All right, so we'll see where they make it, but second question, true or false, USC will go out in the first round?
I'm going to say it again, false. I think USC is going to win at least one game in this tournament, and that's because I think they're going to make it to that play-in round in Dayton. I think if USC makes it there, which I think they will, because again, they had a poor win yesterday against Washington. I think USC is going to win that game in Dayton. I think that they also have a chance to make it even further because we see it every year. One of those play-in teams ends up winning a game in the round of 64 as well. So I'm going to go with false.
I'm going to go with true, actually, because I think that they will go out in the first round. I think that they will end up playing a team on the East Coast, like a Wisconsin or so, and I just don't think it'll be possible to beat a team like Wisconsin and even beat a team on the East Coast. So I'm going to go with true, and I also think that USC has not won a game since 2009, so in the NCAA tournament. So again, I just think the odds are against them.
Right. Okay. And the final question. Let's open this up to the whole Pac-12. True or false? There will be one Pac-12 team in the Final Four.
So I'll start with this one. I'm going to go with true again. I think that we could see that there's already 3 teams that Associated Press has in their top 10 rankings, and I believe that one of those teams will end up being in the Final Four. In my opinion, it's going to be Oregon. I think they have a dominant offense with Dylan Brooks, and they're just such a strong team in general, and I believe they're going to win the Pac-12 championships as well. So I think yes.
Yeah, and I'm going to stop being such a pessimist. I'm going to go with true as well. I think Oregon's a great pick. I love Dylan Brooks. He's got that clutch gene. But I don't think you can sleep on UCLA. They have a very high-powered and versatile offense, a lot of scorers on that team. And if they can put up 80, 90, even 100 points per game in this tournament, and they're a hot team right now. I think if that happens, it's going to be hard to stop them.
Thank you so much. I really like those answers. We'll see which one of you is right. March Madness starts next week, but first we got the Pac-12 tournament starting tonight.
Well, it should be a great game tonight. I was actually UCLA undergrad and USC grad student, so I'm a little bit torn, but I'm looking forward to it regardless. Maybe I'll just have to wear yellow so I can jump to both sides.
Well, yeah, I know you want to wear that yellow gold color, but who do you have?
You know, I don't know, I'm torn.
You got just pick one right now.
All right, fine, USC, it's gotta be.
All right, there we go, fight on, that's what you want to hear.
Thanks so much for watching See It Live. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Madison Weil.
And I'm John Marcus. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Thanks for stopping by.